6:30.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good
A
evening.
very, a very warm welcome to our esteemed dignitary Bhagyesh Jha, sir, and all the participants to the legislative drafting, public policy making, and legislative analysis jointly organized by Sambhav Initiative and Pro Bono India, where today's session is all about an overview of public policy making. I, Divyanshi Rathod, delegate of Sambhav Initiative and today's moderator of the session. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Before I move forward, I would like to mention that the last few minutes of the session will be reserved for the Q&A. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed dignitary, Bhagyesh Jha sir, retired IAS officer and chairman of Gujarat Sahitya Academy. Sir is recognized as an accomplished administrator, an innovative professional, and a passionate poet. With expertise in art and culture administration, Mr. Jha sir has made significant contributions to the field. Sir has also received the Best Collector Award in 2000 for Kheda district and 2003 for Vadodara district, as well as the Prime Minister Award in 2005 for his e-governance initiative. Sir educational journey includes a bachelor's degree with a gold medal in Sanskrit. Although he initially aspired to pursue medicine, Sir has opted for a career as an IAS officer. Sir also participated in various study programs such as the British Council Study Fellowship at Manchester University and the International Management Program at USDA Graduate School, Washington. Sir has contributed columns to renowned publications like Navbharat, Samay, Namaskar, Janbhumi, Pravasi, and Kutch Mitram. In his professional life, Sir had held several significant positions, including Godhadra Sub-Divisional Magistrate, ISPIPA Director at DRDA Mahesana, General Manager at Sardar Sarovar Yojana, Corporate Manager at GIC, Managing Director at Index TV, Commissioner of Industries, Collector of Kheda and Vadodara District, Commissioner of Information and Entertainment Tax, Secretary of Sports, Youth and Cultural Department, Chairman of Gujarat Drama and Music Academy, and Chairman of Gujarat Lalit Kala Academy. In 2016, Sir has held position of officer on special duty in the Chief Minister's office. We are deeply honored to have you with us today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Divyanshi, Hiranshi, and Mr. Agrawal and friends. Uh, Thank you for those nice words to introduce me. It made me more humble. Of course, it was a long journey. And today's subject is very interesting. Public policy, the word itself says that it is derived from public administration. Public administration is a very complex subject and ever evolving faculty. If you see, there is a law, there is a arts, there is a commerce, there is business management, but public administration over the years has really evolved because it brings a lot of focus from all corners of the society and the nation state. So when we are talking about public policy, let us be very clear about what is public administration and private administration. Because you see, when I say I am a public servant, that means I have a monopolistic existence. If there is one collector in a district, there cannot be anybody else. If I am a PSI of this area, that means it is my monopoly. I will be the PSI. There cannot be two PSIs. If I am a X petrol pump, then there will be Y petrol pump. So there is a monopoly. Private administration is competitive but private because two three reasons. One is profit maximum. What is the objective? Objective is profit maximization. In private, it is profit maximization. Whereas in public administration is the public's welfare, security, education, and many things which are over, and every time it is evolving because of this vidha, this faculty, this discipline is over evolving. And I will just take 2 minutes to give you a small history. It was a public administration, or we call Jahir Vahivat in Gujarati. It is called Lok Prashashan in Hindi. Chanakya, Vidur, and many great thinkers have always contributed and tried to define this thing. Then, after the Industrial Revolution in the West, uh, it has become a fashion, and it was also good in a wider interest. Public administration was corporatized, and corporate governance, wo bhi laya, and that was brought in. But now, because corporatization has also limitations of addressing all pervading 360-degree issues and the public view. So now the new nomenclature which is in vogue world over is the new public management. It is also management, but it is also a public affair. And it is a new, because we are in 21st century. We will we will see it in various lights, because we are also in a new age of AI, and you are all, I don't know whether you are a millennial or you are a Gen Z or Alpha G, or I don't know. Everybody is different, and now it's evolving. And world is, when you say nation, that means there is a constitution, there will be some laws, and everything should be in order. And to put everything in order, you require some regulations, you require some policy, which will be proclaimed and honored by all. Now there is a science, there is a process. So before going to the public policy formulation, there are three main pillars, because you are all students of jurisprudence and law. Let me tell you these three things we have to remember. When you are framing a public policy, suppose I am writing a sports policy. So there are three things. One is law. What is law says? If you are going to do any provision, you should always keep in mind the law. Then second is ethics. It's very important that public policy has to be ethical, and public policy has to be transparent, because it is practiced in a public domain. So it is not a private thing. And third, which I mentioned slightly, and we will elaborate it during the course of our deliberations, is governance. Governance is very important, because you see, you are making policy which is required to be implemented, which is required to decide the direction of a field. If I am framing a policy for farmers, then I will have to keep the governance in mind, because governance, this policy will will direct, will inspire farmers to become and adopt the organic farming. So this kind of governance and 360-degree point of view will make us very importantly a balancing act. See, when you are framing a public policy, if I am in Reliance or if I am in a private company, I may not look at everything. I may see that my clients are important. My clients are the king. I have to take care of interest of my clients. Here you are addressing the universal client. Everybody is your client. And that's why what is known as balancing of individual liberty and collective security or collective welfare. We cannot do something to benefit one and damage other. So it is the balancing act which will make public policy very sound. But balancing act requires a lot of broad thinking. And when there is a policy, as you must have heard the name of Niti Aayog, you see, it was a planning commission. Niti Aayog is a very apex body. Every secretary, every department, every public administrator is prepared because it's a skill now. Earlier it was okay, chalo kar dete hai, we let us do. But now because there is a great portion of population is educated, there is a lot of expectation, and there is a very vigilant judiciary, media, public figures like politicians, opposition. All these people are part of the mechanism by which public policy is decided. Now, let's see three another major things which you have to keep in mind. And that is also addressing some of the fundamental challenges that we face while framing the policy, public policy. First is balancing values. You see, I was sports secretary and Modi Sahab was my chief minister and also the minister. And then he said, we want to create a public policy on sports. So what are our concern? Our concern is three. That in Gujarat, people are, let's see, they should be aware. We want to spread the message of wellness, that your health is very important, and that's why the sport. So, how to messaging it? Because the first thing very important that policy framers have to keep in mind is values. There are values. Values is welfare state. We are a welfare state. So, sarve santu niramaya. Everybody should be healthy. And if you want to achieve this, then the balancing values. You have to see values like moral authority, then the general welfare of the people, and all that. We will see how the I have given the example of agrarian reforms. Suppose education you are thinking, though education you will have to look at what will happen. See, in Surat, uh, we have found that there are Urdu medium schools, there are Udiya medium schools. Why? Because there are so many laborers who have migrated from Orissa to Surat. Now their children, how they will learn? Because in the house they are speaking Udiya language, so they should not be deprived of education. That's why there is a Udiya medium school. So this is balancing of values. Another important thing which we are watching before 10 minutes, Honorable Home Minister is replying to the Waqf Board bill which has come to the Parliament. And it is called inclusivity. Everybody should be inclusive, all inclusive. You cannot make a law for one section of society. It should be inclusive of everyone. And third, and very important, which we are looking, because sometimes it is the political bosses decide some major issues, but the bureaucrats and the public policy framers have to examine it with a different kind of a glass, which is said, what is the implementation gap? Implementation करना है, गरीबी हटाओ हुआ, that was a big slogan, and then the whole rural development concept was developed, and how rural development can be foolproof. So then then every state has framed their own guidelines. What should we do? We in Gujarat in 95, we said that will be Gokul Yugam. Gokul Yugam means the rural infrastructure, rural education, rural health scheme, rural roads. These things were thought of because we felt that there is a implementation gap. Second thing, which we all the world over people are asking, no, Gujarat model, what is the Gujarat model? Gujarat model mein ek one thing which Modi Sahib has said, that every time we have to understand the what are the felt needs. You see, public policy has originated, should be originated from felt needs. First was physical infrastructure and all that, that is a requirement. But then you see, the originally, if you see the history of civilization, then civilizations have developed organically on the banks of rivers and on seashores. Major cities have taken place and they developed themselves. Now it is optical fiber. And the third stage, which is coming, is Starlink and all that from satellite they will be giving. So communication policy karna hai, to then you have to see how optical fibers are laid and where the connectivities is possible and how fast internet can be available, because it is a evolving need. एक time था when white revolution happened in Gujarat, we were looking at the roads that the milk has to travel very fast to the district place and the chilling center before it gets spoiled. So there should be road. So roads were built. Then suppose a felt need education. There was a one school among 3 or 4 villages. Now population has increased. There is a demand. There is a felt need of individual schools. So government framed a policy that every village should have the schools. Then we should find out how the room, who will construct, how it should be constructed. Then public policy will decide what will be the format, what will be the structure, what will be the architectural design. These things will be uniformly, you will see in the remotest village of Kutch, desert of Kutch, and in the jungle areas of Dang. So universality of a public policy. Public policy has to be framed in such a way that this should happen. Then, if you are a framer of a policy and public policy, then you should uh, identify the implementation gap. That there will be a problem of a contractor, there will be a problem of good teachers, there will be a problem of healthy and clean transportation. So then, how do we in dance? You see, in Ahmedabad, if you want to open a school, it's easy. But if you want to do it in dance, then where the teachers will stay? There is an implementation gap. So public policy may then you have to think of how to. It is not sufficient to build school rooms. It is required that we have to create some quarters or some houses for the teachers. Or say I was collector in Vadodara, Jayant Agrawal ji know, and we were having a lot of schools in the tribal areas. And lady teachers will feel unsafe to stay there alone. So we identified some village where they can stay, and 4 or 5 kilometers radius. We have created a environment where they can stay and they can go by two-wheelers or even tempo or common car they can hire and things like that. This kind of visualization, public policy requires a big visualization. And as we say, Modi Sahib has been able to do all this because he is a great visionary. Visionary is visualization. You have to visualize. Felt need is basic thing, but visualization is making a state developed, and that's very important. Because if today I am planning the what will be the future classroom in 2030 or 35, because AI will come, laboratories will come. Suppose there are medical colleges in a very remote district place. From where will you draw nurses? From where will you call doctors who will teach them in the classroom? So these are the things, how to gather resources. I have a vision that every district place should have a medical college. Then the policy framer has to think that what resources will be required. It is after visualizing, it is mobilization of resources. That should also be thought. And if this is thought, then we have 3M which describe the policy making. One is manpower. Who will implement it? Do you have the structure to say, I framed the sports policy, but out of 33 districts, there were only 19 districts where I have a district sports officer who will supervise, who will talk to the schools and colleges and gyms and all that, you should have a trained uh, coach will be coaching for certain games and all that. Sports policy will require manpower. Why? For any policy. For health policy, if you say that let us have a public health centers everywhere, but from where nurse will go there? Because if that building is not public policy, a building can be constructed, but building is not sufficient. And let me give you a very interesting and poetic example. We were all the secretaries were sitting, and Modi Sahib asked, "What is the vikas? How would you feel that there is a demand?" I said, "Sir, there is a good road, and good road is infrastructure. But if some young man who takes his milk, means his cows and buffaloes' milk on a motorcycle, and while going on that road, if he sings songs and looks happy, that is Vikas. Infrastructure is not Vikas. A school is built, a teacher is posted, but there are children and they are singing together, and there is a atmosphere, there is a collective feeling of development, collective feeling of pleasure, collective feeling of happiness. That is development. So this first thing is manpower. Second thing is mechanism. Mechanism you will have to provide. What they will teach. Teacher is posted, but what she will be doing or he will be doing, is he trained properly? If he is not trained, then let us create a training centers for teachers. At least district place, then we have created a diet. We have created organizations where teachers will be trained. See, public policy is prompting you to be more proactive. Before something happens, you have to create a public policy. Like fire happens now, then whether the BU was issued by fire brigade, these are the issues which the mechanism What is the mechanism, and that mechanism is honored or not? If mechanism is in place and time to time it is corrected, as I have mentioned, one word which American public administrators use in Harvard School is implementation gap. And that's why the third M is monitoring. It is manpower, mechanism, and monitoring. These things will create every public policy as an instrument, as a medium of a welfare state. We are, as you know, you law students, you know that it is the directive principles of the Constitution, which says that we should create a welfare state. And this welfare state can be achieved only if such mechanism is in place. So let us come to some of the modern things, because I have told you in a brief thing that it is the law, ethic, and governance makes the basic paradigm for framing public policies. Then next step was the balancing values, the inclusivity, and visualizing the implementation gap. Then we have said, okay, I have clarified. But now it is visualization and then the three M's. But now, what are the challenges in the current age? Current age is, say, contemporary dilemma you have to understand, because everybody is very conscious about the rights. And if I have to distinguish between the West and East, we are Bharat. India is a country where duties are given more importance. You see, if I have to go to sermons, what sermons we are giving? You see, one of the source of law is the Rudi, no tradition. Rudi tatra baliyasi. Law से भी आगे है traditions, and traditions are come from the value system and some of the basic values which are taught, which gives the charter of duties to the individuals, citizens, like matrudevo bhava, pitrudevo bhava, acharya devo bhava, atithi devo bhava. इसके लिए you cannot have a public policy that you should honor your husband, you should honor your father, mother. These are the social values, but that will make a good citizen. So contemporary dilemma is individual rights versus collective duties. Duties, duties are important. And if I have to briefly mention that where duties are respected, where duties are honored, the priests or the preachers or the teachers will be very important. When there is a rights, weightage on rights, then lawyers and administrators will be very important. So you have to balance between right and duty. I have to I have to drive my car, but I have to see that public safety, everybody has a right to live. I cannot kill anybody. I cannot do rash driving. So these are the some of the, as we say, reasonable restrictions on rights. Any right is not ultimate, or it is not the final thing. No, it's not exhaustive. It has to be. It must have some roadblocks or some maryada, as we call it. You see, many people know ask how India is known. India is known, and when we say Ram is our God, because Ram is called Maryada Purushottam. Purusho Uttam, Purushasya Uttam, Purushanam Uttamaha. सब पुरुषों में सब in whole population he is the best, but best होने के बाद he has a maryada. I have lot of physical strength, but I cannot kill. I should not be killing somebody. I have guns, but I can't kill. I have vehicle, but I cannot do accident every day. So these are the maryadas. There are limitations, and that is how the public policy puts some restrictions. Like you say, you can hold land, but there is a ceiling how much land you can own. There is a you have a right to transfer your land, but if you are a tenant, if you are a tribal, if you are a beneficiary of a government scheme, then you cannot undertake our dealings where profiteering or somebody may exploit you. So that's why there is a 73 section 73 in revenue code which restricts a tribal to sell the land without, he cannot do this without permission of the collector. The collector will see that some land grabbers or land shark is not taking away his land. So this is the way the contemporary dilemma has to be addressed. And the duty of an individual and the right of an individual should be balanced in such a way that jurisprudence can intervene in case of some dispute between the two. Now we are in a different age. We are in a digital age, so there are digital rights now. There is a big issue of privacy. There is a big issue of copyright. And if I have to borrow the word from Francis Fukuyama, who said that chat GPT and sub things, there are so many thinkers, they have said this, because we don't know chat GPT is bringing something from somewhere. It is a collective theft or it is a legalized theft or what, I don't know. You are the legal minds, future legal minds. You will have to address Devansi. And you have to understand and you have to analyze that how these things, digital rights and judicial review. Judicial review is very, very important in public policy. When we, as secretary, when we sit on some issues, we are always asking our legal department and some of our own legal assistants to give us landmark judgments. What are the Supreme Court observations on these issues? What are the law as proclaimed or as suggested, or courts have also intervened in many cases? And there are some observations which will guide the public policy framework. So that's very important. Two, three issues related to the new public management. New public management, as I said, three things. One is digital transformation. Everywhere it is happening, and newer things like 1930, because frauds now, somebody will not stop you and loot you. The crimes are now in a different format. Somebody will enter your phone and take away your money. Somebody will crack your email and still your own content, which is the result of your very fertile brain and creativity. So these are the new kinds of crimes. New scenarios are emerging. And I think it's a very big challenge for youngsters like you, that how to visualize these things. You see, that's why I met some hacker in California when I visited the Silicon Valley, and that hacker boy was very brilliant, and he was telling us, mesmerized. He mesmerized the whole audience, that you give me your email address and I will ask you 10 questions about your birth date, your daughter's birth date, your wife's name, this, that, and then I will frame your password. And if I frame 20 passwords, one will be correct, and I'll be able to crack your this thing. So cybersecurity is a new big challenge. Second thing is globalization. So because we are in a global village, everybody is connected. Pehle to go to US and to even talk to US or on the other side of the globe, it was really a big issue. Today, I can address a conference from my room in Gandhinagar or my house in some small village if I have a right kind of connectivity. So globalization in a digital age is a really is a big transformation that humanity is witnessing. So in this kind of experiential world where you are able to see whatever is visible, and that's why you can see the judicial reforms are also taking place. They can interview some witnesses are examined via video conferencing. These are the things which are now emerging, are new frontiers where the law and the public policies will have to be changed accordingly. And the third and very important, of course, is which where we cannot make policies is crisis governance. Crisis governance is very important. Suddenly something happens. You see, there is an earthquake. Now you cannot. You will have some policies, but you have never visualized that this will happen, and of this magnitude it will happen. So that requires a grand understanding of how to make crisis governance and quick public policies, which may not involve many stakeholders and will have a conference and will invite, like national education policy was framed, where you have 4 lakhs opinions. Because the then education minister and prime minister said that this is open, you please give us some suggestions. And 4 lakh people can participate. But in a crisis situation, you have to act immediately, and that requires a different kind of skills. As a medical student, people are always taught how to act in a critical care. Critical care is a different kind of medical treatment. When somebody is sinking, his breathing is numbered almost. Okay, now he'll go, and how to save him, how to help him. He can manage his body and his systems. So that crisis governance is also like that. There is an accident, there is a flood, there is a earthquake. Now we have lot of experience, and from experience we have codified, and we have created a code of conduct. And time and again we train our collectors, our secretaries, public policy makers and public policy implementers that how to behave in such a situation. So these things, crisis government governance will make you a foolproof, and crisis governance will also teach you every moment, every hour, every day. And I have experience. I worked for the relief in the in riots and also in the earthquake. So that was a very different kind of situation where you have to help people. They come out from not only physical discomforts but trauma, mental trauma. So these are the very important frameworks which I described. Now, if I have to summarize, because this is the last 5 minutes, and my summary will be that public policy requires three things. Honor the past. There is a past is full of experience and knowledge. We cannot write it off. We have to learn from past. So honor the past. Serve the present. आज की स्थिति में you have to how best I can deliver. That is the examination, that is the test of public policy maker. Serve the present and safeguard the future. I have to ensure that my future of my countrymen, future of my citizen is safeguarded from all kinds of possible crimes, war, natural calamities, accidents, all these things, including positive things like how this will be the you see projection of a demographic changes, that this will be the population. This number of population will require so much quantity of wheat, rice, how to feed them. So we have to look at the cropping pattern, productivity, how to increase it. Otherwise, we'll have to import things. So it is all inclusive. Public policy making is like, becoming a semi god. You are trying to governance, हम नहीं वो बहुत खराब है expression, but it is most nearer to the reality is सरकार माई बाप. Government has to become omnipresent, omnipotent. And if you have to become like that, it requires a very magnanimous heart, very fertile brain, and at the same time it has to be very, very collective effort. Because public, when you are using public, it is not individual. If I have to think of my moksha, then I will shut down my room and do meditation and all that. And I'll do whatever according to my teachings and my belief. I'll be able to experience the moksha or whatever my God. अभी नवरात्रि चल रही है. I will talk to my Devi Ma, but that is individual. But when I say public policy, then it is collective efforts. It is collective thinking. It is collective wisdom, which will be implemented. And I think if that is done, then this formula of three things, honoring the past, serving the present, and safeguarding the future, will pave our way. Sarve janaha sukhinah santu. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyanto. Magrada kashya svidya. This is the dukh bhag bhavet. इति ये हमारा पब्लिक पॉलिसी का मंत्र है. ये मंत्र पर आधारित your thought process will help everyone to understand how the public policy should be formulated. And I'm sure that Kalyan Rajya if has to be achieved, then one should also keep in mind Ano Bhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwata, that is the great thoughts from all directions should help me in framing my policies. So, as a public administrator, I will say that Rigveda and Vedas helping us in deciding our policy. So, thank you very much. It is 7:15. That is what the time Jayant Agarwal ji has agreed with me. And if you have some questions, we will take a couple of questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening session. Now the floor is open for the questions. You can question directly.
Yeah. In case participants have any questions, you can directly ask to the sir or write in the chat box. Participants, now you can unmute yourself and you can ask directly question.
Good.
Yes, sir, you have any question?
Yes, any question? Let me ask first. Yes. Ruby, madam, are you there? Or any other participant?
Yes, Kalpesh.
So, do you think, sir, we should discuss this new public management law schools? Because I work in IIM Ahmedabad, so you must be knowing the Khanwala, the director of IIMA. He took the
I
lecture
know.
on public management, Khanwala sir. So that
I know
I
Pradeep Khandwala. He's a
yes sir.
very great friend of us. Huh.
So I think it was in 2011. I worked for 5 years in IIM Ahmedabad. So one of the lecturer in AMA, Ahmedabad Management Association, he talked about new public management. Then I come to know, okay, this is the term. And then example, I would say 108 the best example, that ambulance, the emergency number 108. So what do you think, sir? Now for last few years, I've not heard about a new public management. I would say last 8 9 years. So what's your thought on this? How do we promote this new public management in every sphere of our administration? So any thought on this one?
You know, this there is a Dr. Adia's chairmanship. We have the Administrative Reform Commission, and government. When there is, fortunately, there are good mechanism where you can always participate. Almost all the departments and all the policy realm, the fields where policies are formulated are available on digital world, and so people make suggestions and people make observations. It is not that you have to go to a office or you have to meet the higher person and you have to represent your case and all that. That is also good if there is a grievance. But in general, stakeholders are always participating. And I have seen uh, there is a good response to any policy initiative. And now government has also developed a kind of a mechanism where you announce in advance that we are going to do this, and if you want to participate or if you want to make suggestions, please do that. And I attended one very good program of public policy in IIM itself. So I remember those days where we were all discussing about the agriculture policy, I think. But thereafter also there are always administrative school of in Hyderabad, Bella Vista, and many institutions are training the public policy makers. I think participation is a good suggestion, Kalpesh. Thank you very much for that.
So a couple of questions. Participant, you can also raise your hand and ask question to sir. The question is like, is prior public consultation is important? So that is a question.
बिल्कुल important because you see prior Tushti has asked, and you see because like education, I mentioned about the national education policy that was discussed so widely, and that's why I think after 34 years we have a now document which speaks of 360-degree education. So prior public consultation is not only important, it must be done. It is unavoidable because otherwise there will be reaction and there will be not participation. And now in a participatory democracy, it is very important that stakeholders are involved. Now coming back to Vishal's question about Gujarat model, as I said, ki Gujarat model have three things. One is the vision that we want to, you see, destination is decided that we want to go this way. Then mobilization of resources for that. And third was very strong feedback and monitoring mechanism in place. You have a Sardar Sarovar, but visualize that what will happen and how the network of canals should be laid and what should be the timetable for everything. So Gujarat model mein everybody has started working, every department, every ministry, every small office were given the task and they were asked to monitor themselves. You don't require wise person as a supervisor. It is not some wise people from outside. You yourself monitor. And of course, then the senior officer and the secretary and everybody will intervene. But every individual unit, if starts about these things, then you will really get a great thing. And he mentioned no implementation of this model in terms of policies, especially with reference to the industries. Yeah, that is true. I was the managing director of Industrial Extension Bureau, and what happened, Vishal, that suppose let me tell you one small. There was some news in Economic Times that XYZ is planning expansion. So we went to Bombay, proactive governance. We went to Bombay and we telephoned that big industrialist. Sir, we would like to come. We are from government of Gujarat. She said, why? I said, sir, we read your news that you are expanding and we would like to help you in expansion. Please come to Gujarat. We'll provide you land in time, we'll provide you this, that, and all policy framework is available for you. So, proactive governance is very, very important. And I think most challenging, as Vaishnavi Yadav is asking, most challenging policy was the administration of rehabilitation and restoration post Bhukamp earthquake. That was a very, very challenging thing because you see, I was collector of Vadodara and I was given the charge of airport. I think I slept on in the airport for 2 3 nights because planes were coming in the midnight and you have to classify. There is a food item, there is a no furniture, there are clothes, and then you have to match with the requirement of small towns in and around Bhuj. It was a very, very big exercise of distribution, redistribution, and equity, and nobody should be left out. No village should be unattended, and you have a limited. Every secretary, no, generally secretary is in charge of the whole state, whereas in the earthquake, government appointed one secretary for 10 villages, and sometimes only one town, Rapar town, or a Bhachau town, or a Anjar town near Bhuj. So these are the challenging things, and it was so scientific because first 3 days was without telephone. Then the satellite phones were working. Then government established some wireless network immediately, and we started communicating with people. And some of us were in charge of the sending material to them. I sent, the first day, first night, I sent a train load of wood, lakdiya, for three things. One is it was a very cold, chilly nights in the desert of Kutch. Second, there were a lot of dead bodies. And dead bodies ka last rites have to be performed. So they require lakdi. And third thing is how to cook. There is no gas, no electricity. So they went back to the primitive way of cooking, no? Lakdi jalao or chai banao, khana banao. And that was a very challenging time. So Vaishnavi, that was your question and I tried to address it. So I think, Kalpesh, that makes the end of the list. Thank you. Jain Bhai?
Thank you.
Yes. So,
Over to you, Hiranshi.
Now I would like to call Hidanshi Shah ma'am, founder of Sambhav Initiative and a young member of Singapore International Arbitration Center to deliver vote of thanks.
thank you, Devanshi. First of all, sir, on behalf of the institution, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude for your valuable session and also to share your experience when you was collected and how you tackle those things and also share your experience and especially for your session also on the public policy. So thank you so much, sir. And also we would like to thanks because you also accept our invitation in very shortest time. Thank you so much, sir. And I also would like to thank our own patroning chief and patron Sambhav initiative, Justice C.K. Thakkar, sir, and Justice Emma Shah, sir, who always guided us to organize various capacity building program, and Dr. Kalpesh Gupta, sir, who be part of this as a making schedule and organizing and host this program. So thank you everyone, and also thanks to Devyanshi for moderating today's session. And at the list, all participants. Without you, we are not able to invite such a dignitary, and also without you, we can't able to organize this capacity building program. So thank you everyone. Have a great evening ahead. Once again, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.